Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Shaah and Sheeko. Today our topic is going to be about divorce, and we have 5 of us that's going to talk about it. My name is Nafisa. This is Zahra. This is Khadra. That's Aini. And this is Su'ada.
What stigma or backlash does one face after divorce? dhibka ka soo gaaraya
dhibaatooyinka soo gaarayso maxay dhahaan furniinka maxaa keenaya maxaa ka mid ah well, number one, as a Somali community, you know, we always put a stigma on them, you know, maxaa la dhahaa hooyooyinka, maybe it was her fault. That's the big thing. Naag la soo furay waay. Like it was her fault. Hana ceebeenin. You know, it's sad, but that's the big stigma that I talk to my friends who are divorced. They feel ashamed because they didn't want to get divorced sometimes. They wanted to stay in the marriage, even though, you know, the marriage was not good.
For them or the
they were just, that fear they have, that, number one, the fear they have was, malaku guursanayo, adoo single mother ilma qabto yaa ku guursanayo. Number two, and either maybe naag caasi ahayd, or she was not obedient and wife, and that's why she got divorced.
adduunku waxa uu nabcahay markay dhahaan maxaa la jiray ninka ayada ku dalab ayada ninka dooratay joogto marka hore u sheegay as if they can predict the divorce that's going to happen.
Walo sheegay
your enemies come out when you're suffering, you know. And a lot of times women who fell in love got married to their Prince Charming, and then he turns out to be the way he does. He's harming himself. He's not harming her. When she should be getting support is when she gets backlash. She gets talked down on and all that stuff, and subhanallah, so.
I mean, thank God we're in America where single mother nowadays are the rank of, you know, graduating, you know, like higher degrees and having a businesses and, you know, running, you know, non-profit organizations. But
support of the family,
support of the family, and also support of the country we at, because back home it's totally different. Women, they don't get a support. Nyaya waxay ku gadgadaan suuqa, you know. Aba uu ka carraa ilmaha usually waa loo daadiyaa habarta, and if she gets married, Allahu a'lam, but here at least, you know, she can get support. Even if she doesn't get support from the community, she gets support from the government. You know, there's a lot of program out there for her to get to school, to take ilmaha child care laga bixinaya, you know, housing ay heli kartaa, education care continue granting kartaa, you know, success is for her.
So what you just
said,
but then
when they do success,
waxaa
leeyahay ma la guursanay naagtaanayto because way kibirtay.
She's too successful.
Okay.
She's too successful.
way dhameystiran tahay ayadana maxay kaaga baahan tahay.
She still need nin. Right. She needs a real nin, not just a nin.
And also I think that in itself is what helped increase divorce. Because now she knows that she can get that support. It's easier for them to work out. I mean, to walk out. Whereas I've met an older generation woman who said, when we were in our 31, 32, we went through a phase where we didn't want to be married in Somalia. But I'm glad we didn't have the same opportunity as my daughter, because when I went through that 3-year phase, alhamdulillah, me and my husband, it was as if we picked up from where we met again, you know. So sometimes, you know, you'll see people who are divorced in America, and then years later they're like, I wish I was patient on certain things. I think it would have worked out for us. So there's also that downfall, you know, with that. So because we come from a very men-dominating community, culture, I feel like whatever wrong he does, people tend to forgive him. You know, he gets more support in the community. Even the girl who's marrying him knows the rumors are true, but the mother will trust that daughter to remarry this guy. Whereas the sister who's struggling, who, you know, went through all that stuff, she's tend to stay back, and even when guys are checking her out and they know she's a really good person, they won't do it because they're like, oh, I can get a fresh. I've heard that. I mean, I've heard that, and I've gotten into arguments with that, where I feel like sometimes, not just our community, I think our world, society in general, they look down on women and they feel like her struggles is her loss, whereas the man,
wiil waxaad arkaysaa qamro cab ah, clubku aadaa, but he can marry a noble family, their daughter. Well, already now, because he's a man. But midii sharmuutada ahayd
wax qarsanay wax ceebtada
ceebtada looma qarinayo number one
ma jirto
qof oo dhahaya kasoo istaag waxaanayto ma lahan, very rare. And also haddii xataa sharmuuto ahayn oo qof kale uu dhaho rumors, hiblaayo sharmuuto waaye, even xataa if it's not true, it's hard for her to get married. But then you have a guy here oo maxay dhahaan qamra cab ah oo derbi jiif ah oo kalaabka aado, but he can marry gabar fiican oo ka imaatay good family.
I've noticed when they do that and the guy is like, he's not as he says he is, they'll try to like even dress him up as the part. I've seen it happen, and then it's so believable. And then, but the thing is, true colors always come out.
It always come out,
So,
but it's too late when it comes out, because she already married her. Maybe she had kids with him, and
but I believe even if you get married to somebody and you have kids with them, knowing your worth is really important.
It is.
Like, regardless of what people have to say, like we all know, like being Somali people love to talk. If it's not about them, then they're invested in it. You know what I mean? So you need to know. Sometimes you need to just let it go past. Don't think about it. Just think about yourself and your kids, and know that you're not worth the crying or the headaches and the heartbreak and everything that you're going through. If like, you know, as you said, like when the woman gets divorced and she goes back into education, she gets this and she gets that and whatever. In a way, I feel like that's like when you have the ultimate power as a woman. Do you see what I mean? Who even cares if you get remarried or not? Do you know what I mean? Because look, your kids have you.
Yes.
Like if you can do that, they can do everything. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So sometimes it's not even about getting married. Like a lot of times, Somali people say, she's got a degree, like a single girl, like she's got a degree, she's got this, she's got that, but there must be something wrong with her because she's not married. Do you know what I mean? But then she knows exactly what she wants.
Exactly.
But then they'll tell her, stop being so picky, like just, you know what?
Thank
I know
you.
this guy, I know you
The
guys are hit
assumption,
off, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like,
Or
she
you're
doesn't
stuck up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They'll say you ask for too much.
Yeah.
But you
Thank
know,
you.
Yeah.
You know what you're bringing to the table.
Mama.
Yeah, you know what you're bringing to the
Right.
table. So it's like this table's set up right, and this is all you. If you didn't know me and I just pulled up a chair and sat down side, you need to be like, what are you doing? Right?
Yes.
So it doesn't make any sense.
And it's happening a lot in our community
It
nowadays.
doesn't make any sense.
Very
So-
successful young girls that who finish school, graduate, have a good credit, they are not married because the brothers, their fear. Beside Alaf, I have seen the sisters where I saw her finish. She has the highest education, good family, everything. But the problem, she cannot get married because I talked to a brother. I say, why is it so hard for that woman to get married? They say because she's already man to herself. They have a fear. The men fear that if I marry someone who makes, you know, like a 6-figure plus, and I'm only making 3, you know, she's gonna rule me.
But that's just, I feel like in the Somali community, the Pakistani community, the certain Arabs, I don't want to say all Arabs, certain, they love that. They actually request educated because they feel like that's, you're about to raise my children.
Exactly.
I want to invest in that. But with, I don't know, with the Somali guy, if let's say the woman makes more money than him, it's as if it's a dig on his manliness, which I don't understand, you know?
It's the feeling thing.
Then that's when she married outside her culture.
Right.
And then they say, oh, look at her, she married outside her culture. Well, she married because that brother was willing to come into this relationship of who she is. Not lowering herself down, you know.
Right. And I noticed even sometimes when the woman is educated and she gets married and she has maybe one child, they'll try to use that against her.
Yeah.
You have a child now, your responsibility is in this home alone. You know, they'll try to, like, this is all your fault, like, this is all you, like, this child, and you cannot leave this home, you have to be home all the time. And then it gets to the point where she thinks that's all she is, that's all she is. She'll just have, like, 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and then she's forgotten who she is.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I tell women nowadays. I tell them all the time. I even put it in Facebook. Marriage contract.
Yeah.
Before you get married, you have to have your marriage contract written down. The Arabs do it, the Cham do it, every other culture do it, except our culture.
They don't believe
And there is nothing wrong with it doing it.
There's nothing wrong with that, but have you know, I actually sat down, I was in a situation where we were coming up with a contract, and this Somali guy laughed about the contract. One of which I won't mention it. He was like, "This is a joke," and I said, "Why is it a joke?" He said, "The contract is between you and that person and Allah. So this contract that you're making up is Western contract." And I said, "What about it makes it what?" I was curious because I'm always trying to learn not just the religion. I'm always trying to educate myself. And he said he said number 2, you said if he marries another woman, you're gonna walk out. He says you can't do that because he's allowed to marry 4 wives. I said, yeah, he's allowed to marry 4 wives, but I also have the choice whether or not to be in it. That choice is not taken away from you. But I think you're right. Contract is amazing. Yeah. You know, it makes the sister at ease too.
And it will protect him. And it will protect the deen.
Right.
Because it's an agreement that both of you come together and you cannot break that agreement.
Absolutely.
And you did it in front of Allah, in front of your family.
I personally never worried about the stigma or backlash because I think because it's my home, I'm the one who's building it, well, we were building it together. I'm the one who's taking care of my kid. I really never worried about the background noises. So I knew once it came to the divorce, nothing that anybody or in the community or the family could tell me that would hurt my feelings about me wanting a divorce, you know? Because even from the beginning, you tend to hide a lot of stuff before you get to that divorce point. Because you don't know if you're going to go back to this person, so why tell your family about it? So that's why I never really worried about it, because they really didn't know the truth behind the closed door. But a lot of times, because I didn't worry about the backlash, some other people worried about the backlash. And it's like, are you worried about yourself or are you worried about me, kind of thing. And if you're worried about me, then you wouldn't worry about what other people are saying.
Why do we romanticize long marriages such as our parents and our grandparents?
لأن محل وجعلنا هاي جور كدير.
Yeah.
والدينتنا
Romantic,
iyo maxaa la dhahaa iyo awatooyinkeena iyo awowaheena oo kale.
I think anytime you want to associate success, we associate it with longness of something. You know, if the car is good, you have it for a very long time. If the marriage is long, something must have worked for it to last that long. You know, but I also feel like that could be. There is a misunderstanding with that. Sometimes, you know, I've seen people who've been married for a very long time. They said, we weren't consistently in love with that person. I mean, we had our bad days and there were days we couldn't stand them, you know. But we were there. We were there through thick and thin.
Yes. Yeah. And I think long marriages from our parents and grandparents, it teaches you to either deal with the person in the situation or get out of it. Yeah. Because a lot of things that they dealt with or they have suffered for, we or our generation or my generation, we know not to stand for.
I think sometimes we romanticize on marriages as well because you see when we're younger, right? You see your parents can do no wrong and your grandparents can do no wrong. Everything just seems so perfect. But then as you get older, you kind of realize, you know, even though they're married and they love each other and stuff, no marriage is perfect. But we still want that, you know, we still want that image that we have of them in our heads. We don't want that to go away because sometimes it's just hard to deal with reality. Yes. Do you know what I mean? So,
do you believe that marriage is supposed to be for life?
Being someone who has been divorced, Lord have mercy. What is it called? I thought it was going to be for life, but you know, there's things that happen closed door that makes you realize like, this ain't for me. This ain't for my kid. And this ain't for the other person either. So when you come to that realization, you have to like you said, you have to know that you're the most important one. Even if you have a kid, if you're doing it just for the kid, you're going to stick around for that marriage. But you have to realize that you also are hurting. You also have to raise this kid, and they have to see it, even though you might hide it behind closed doors. So I believe in divorce if it's the last thing you got to do. And then remarrying too, because I do believe that God said someone is out there for you.
For you, yeah.
You just made a mistake the other time. And that's why divorce was into play.
Yeah.
For me, I think that is why for a long time I didn't want to get married, because I was scared. Thank you. Scared to get married, because you see some people in your family just, mashallah, they do everything they can to make that marriage work, and it doesn't work, you know. And as a child who, alhamdulillah, didn't grow up in a divorce home, but saw some people around me get divorced and it was for the things that they didn't even deserve for that to happen, you know. You watched that, you were like, I don't want to get into that, you know. It scares you. I mean, because we grew up with the mentality when you get married, it's forever. This is you know, the person you have to even choose somehow Islamically over your parents. Because if your dad is calling you, you have to obey this person, you know. And if this person is the one that's harming you, killing you slowly, because, you know, the mental abuse and all those things,
physical.
How do you interpret that? How do you be the one to go into that? So for me, it was because I wanted to be for forever. I would always find all the flaws in that person that I could possibly find. Not knowing that I myself am a human, I make mistakes, but my mistakes are like, oh, my mom and my siblings and my nieces, my cousin, they all forgive me. But this man, is he gonna look at them and be like, oh, silly girl, you know? She's just being ridiculous, you know? But you have to find that person who sticks with you and is kind to you, is merciful.
See, in Somali waxay dhahaan marriage and guurka waa the unknown. Adigoo waxa weeyaan god aweeso ku jirto gacan la galaysid. But you don't know whether the aweeso ay kusoo qaniinayso or you come out, you know, safe.
Peace.
So, peacefully. So that's the thing. Yes or no? Yes, because you know how we say about marriage is half of your deen. It's true. It is half of our deen. It kind of completes the whole circle of, you know, life. Because you share this person, you know, with everything. And as women, you know, when we get married, we don't get married because we wanted to get divorced. We wanted to stay. We wanted to be the wife until death, you know, do us apart. Divorces are permissible. When things don't work out, it's okay to seek divorce. But is marriage for life? I think I'm for it. You know, I like to be, you know, I like to think so. You know, I like to, you know what they say, like when you die, if you love your husband, you will meet him in Jannah.
Very nice,
And if you don't love him, then you know, you gotta find another one. So I mean, I do believe in marriage should be for life. But if things doesn't work out, Allah also send, you know, relief as a divorce, and you can find love again. And I have seen it, you know, some of my friends, you know, who were married before and who got divorced, and I was with them in their darkest days, you know, consulting them, being with them, and they thought that this was at the end of, you know, for them. And then I see them saying, hey, Su'ad, can you pinch me, because I found this love that I never thought I would find. You know, this love is so stronger than my first husband. This guy loves my kids. This guy loves me. This guy does this for me. Does this. So I always tell women, believe in you. Believe in yourself. You know, no woman should stay a marriage where she cries at night in her bed.
Or men.
Or men. But
I've seen men being hurt in that situation.
Men being hurt too sometimes, But no one should stay that, you know, because life is already too short. Why want to spend, you know, your days miserable? you know?
I kind of believe both ways. Reason being, like, nobody knows the unknown, because qadr, like, you know, you could have everything today and have nothing tomorrow. So I mean, it's a tricky question if you, do you know what I mean? Like, you just don't know, because you don't know the unknown.
Exactly.
You've had, like, you know, I'm sure, like, we've all been through, like, friendships, right? Where we're friends with somebody and then they just switch up on you all of a sudden. You're like, wow, I never expected that to happen. So I've seen that happen as well with marriages as well. Like, maybe the woman would do something that, you know, was never expected of her and everything's down the drain. So, I mean, working on your marriage, and first of all, like, I don't know the correct way to put this, but, like, making sure you're always doing the right thing so it doesn't come back to you. Do you know what I mean? Because I think a lot of people forget that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like your marriage didn't work out and it was your fault, and then they'll end up with somebody else. You know, it always happens with the guys. Like, they get divorced and then the guy, like, within months, he's married again, and then he's going through the same situation again. And it's like, sometimes you just sit down and, like, you're an adult, you know, check yourself. Maybe it's you. Do you know what I mean? But if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and if it's not, it's not. But you can't lose yourself trying to hold on to something that's not meant to be. You know what I mean?
Here, what's the best way to bring up divorce to children?
See loo sheegi karaa ilmaha markay labada waalid kala tagayaan. What do you guys think?
Wallahi, ani kale waxaa aaminsanahay they have a right to know.
Of course,
Because hadaa qarisid iyo haddii kalaba sooner or later way ogaanayaan carruurtii. No matter how long you hide it or it takes it, they're gonna find out. Because qofka number one, guriga ku lama degana, he moved on, ama wuu guursaday, waxba adiga kale community wax walba waa la maqlaa. Markay taas noqoto, marka intay ayaga banaanka ka soo maqli lahaayeen, waxa fiican labada waalid inay wada hadlaan oo ilmihii u sheegaan.
In a perfect world, like I said earlier, when two people decide to go their separate ways, in a perfect world, they always should sit the kids down. Before they sit the kids down, they should talk. Listen, it didn't work out between us. We're gonna get divorced. We're gonna tell our kids, but you and I will stay friends. We'll remain friends, and we'll share custody. So in a perfect world, when the two parents sit with the kids and say, guys, listen, we'll split it up, but that doesn't mean that daddy is gonna disappear out of your life or mom is gonna disappear out of your life. Both of us will stay in your life mutually.
We will always love you.
I will still take you to your doctor's appointment, to your, you know, to your recital. I will still take you to soccer practice.
Basketball.
I will still have the schedule together, basketball. The differences will be sometimes you might have to come and spend the night with me. Sometimes you might have to stay with mommy. Mommy and I will work it out. You guys don't have to worry about it. But mommy and I love each other. But it just didn't work out. But that doesn't mean we don't love you guys. We love you a lot, and we're gonna be family forever. Because when you decide to get married and have children, that responsibility follows you to your grave, even beyond. People don't recognize that sometimes. That's the perfect world. The other world is, you want to take somebody else can take the other world.
I think it also depends on the age of the kid. So divorce, if it happens with a young kid, like, that doesn't understand what is going on, you have to start preparing yourself to know that you will explain it one day. They will come up to you one day and ask, why are you not with my dad? You know, and when that day comes, if the two people are civil, then obviously you want to sit together and explain it to the kid. But if you guys are not civil, hopefully both parents individually can explain to the kid, you know, this just wasn't meant to be, and the best thing for us and for you was for us not to be together. So even if you divorce, whether the kid is 1 or they're 20, whatever, you have to explain it to them. Explain it to them in a way that they understand at the age that they're at. Not explain it to them as an adult. And keep reassuring them that it's not their fault. You don't hate the other person. And that even if me and this person do not talk, there's no hatred.
horta waxay ku xiran tahay number 1 isfahanka labada qof haddii labada qof isfahmaan caruurtan wax kama halaabo laakiin markoo badanaa wax burburaan zaid waxa way markay labada qof oo isficlaayaan ama ayaga isku maqan yihiin oo qofba qofka kala ka cadgoosanayo kala camal badana markaas ay dhacdaa oo caruurtina dhexda ku dhumaan laakiin labada qof haday isfahmayaan caruurtana waa la fahansiin karaa.
When parents ask for full custody, is it out of revenge for the parent or love of the child?
hadday waalidka kala tagaan labada waalid hadday kala tagaan mid baa wuxuu rabaa inuu ilmahii qaato oo midka kale ka qaato miyay tahay in oo qofkaanay rabo inuu qofka kale ka aarsado ama inuu cunugaas u jecel yahay?
We say, okay, full custody means the other parent doesn't talk to them at all. Now, to get to that point, I think the other person has to be doing something to the kid in order to get to that point of demanding full custody. But I don't think, I mean, a lot of people will do it because of pettiness, because they're mad the other person moved on, but it should never be like that. You should look at the child and see what they're going through. If you guys got divorced and this kid is going to the other parent, but they're coming back home to you and they're hurting, they're crying, what's the point? What's the point of them still going back to that person? So I think it has to be like full on control of the kid's mental stability, emotional stability, that you would ask for like full custody.
Mada kalena waxaa fiican marka koob inaa horta labada fariis laga wada hadlo oo la dhaho anaga ha isfiirinin aan fiirino maslaxada guudeed oo caruurta ah. Mar waxaa dhacdaa cunugaasayta asoo jecel labada waalid oo laakiin mid ka mid ah ama hooyada ha noqoto ama aabaha oo xumaan ku beerto ama odayga ha noqdo ama aabaha oo noqdo oo uu arko cunugan inaa la against gareysan ama cunugan hooyadiis loo ataagareynayo camal because labada qof waxa ka dhaxeeya camal oo cunugi loo use gareynayo inuu qofka nacayb u qaado ama qofkaas kale nacayb u qaado. marka mar walba waxaa fiican inaa bartid cunugaas respectiga waalidka ixtiraamka because ma ogtid bari ka maalin soo cunugaas adiga kugu noqon doon hadaa maanta caasi ka dhigtid caasi waalideen bari uu kugu soo noqonaya adaa ilaan barti xumaantaasaytid marka mar walba hala fiiriyo dhanka wanaaga ah.
The thing is that when two partners seek divorce, children are the one who suffers the most. Most of the time women stay in the marriage because even though there's an abuse relationship, they stay because of the children. They fear that if they get divorced, these children will, scattered. Yeah. And when divorce happens and the two people are civil with their divorce, there should not be one parent having one custody. It should be mutual. Number one, even though you're divorced, you can still show that child love for both sides. Let's say if you split the week and you have 3 days and I have 4 days. When you get divorced, you both of you agree that, guess what, we're going to be friends. We might not going to be together, but for the sake of the children, we have to be friends. Because regardless, even if you have a full custody, this kid only have a two-parent, mom and dad. And even though they're kids, which we have seen many, many times, and one parent takes that child and then leaves the other parent out, guess what's going to happen when that child grows up? Even though that father or mother was abusive towards the other, that kid will always ask you, where's my other parent? And even if you don't tell them, they're going to seek, they're going to search. So my advice to women always is, divorce, it's rahma also, just like, marriage is. But when that happens, always put the kids first, both women and men. Say, hey, listen, you and I, this thing is not working out, but I want us to have a joint custody. You took your day, I take my day. Let's not put the kids in the middle. Let's not fight, because they're the one who are going to suffer the most, not the parent.
laakiin waxay ku xiran tahay labada qof haday diyaar u yihiin marmar waxaa dhacdaa anaga community-geena haday gabadha ama wiilka kala tagaan inuu la dhahayo qori iyo qaaciisa kelmad oo saas camal isticmaalaan
qori iqaacis israacsi
haa israacsi camal marka macnaheeda ay tahay haddee ama hooyada ama aabaha isku xanaagsayna dee hal meel oo loo badanayo camal ama hooyadii la dhaha oo caruurteeda iyada faraha ka qaada camal no maraba inaan qofkaan mar dambo aan arka camal ama aan lama caamiloolo oo ninkaan gooni u baxo ama hooyadii oo dhahday sidaas oo kale camal caruurtiisa ay u daadisana way dhacdaa marka there has to be both sides dadka ku xiran tahay labada qof ay ku xiran tahay sida ay isku fahmaan oo hadday maslaxad ahaan guudeed u fiirinayo caruurtaas awgeeda ay u fiirin ayaga siday isku yihiin ama aan waxyaalaha oo ka dhaxeeya xumaanta ay fiirinin oo ilmahaas fiiriyaan
I have seen that where parents use their children to hurt one another. You know, for example, Monday through Friday both parents are working, and let's say the mom is ayada heso, and then weekend ka in a break be ubahanta ilmihi in a waalidka kala aabihi u daba raacay rabtaa laakiin waxa dhacaysa weekend ka asaga inuu saaxiibiis u aado and then dagaal baa dhacayo sometimes wuxuu ogaanayaa qoftaanay in aroos u socoto weekend kan so instead of concentrating spending time with his kids he now finds a way to bail and not even answer the phone and at the end of the day it's the children that have a different understanding of what's happening. Does dad not want to spend time with me? Why does mom want to get rid of me on the weekend? It's not easy.
You see when they said do they take custody of the children for the love of the child? Sometimes I feel like in the Somali community, you see the woman literally does everything. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the dad is there. Well, she's married, on paper, but she's not really married because she's basically a single mom doing everything. So when the divorce does happen and then she decides to just keep the children to herself, it's completely understandable because he wasn't being a father in the first place. But if he was somebody that is invested in his children, takes the time out, helps raise them and helps in any way that he can and he understands his role as a dad, then I get them sharing the child the custody and stuff like that. But unfortunately 90% of the time people don't understand that and then the child the mom tries to protect the child and that comes off a little bit standoffish. The child will be like, why is she always like this? So then they're going to learn to resent her for doing that. And she just wants to protect the child, but sometimes I don't know, that's just how it goes. I've noticed in the Somali community. So.
Always nagaha markay ninka kala tagaan habarta ilmaha loo dhaafaya. That's our culture. It's been like that from the get-go. It's very rare you see habar Somali oo ilmaheeda dhahayso aabaha ha qaata carruurta. It's always the mother. A lot of divorces are happening in our community and a lot of single mothers. The fathers are just, absentee fathers. They don't want to take responsibility.
And it's amazing when you see a man who not only picks up his children on the weekend, but actually will keep the whole summer. And, it's a rare thing. And it should actually be the norm.
Yes.
And it's sad. I grew up in an environment, I don't want to specifically name names, but I grew up in a place where I saw some fathers actually be the one to keep the children. Is it important or necessary for step-parents to be formally introduced to other parents?
معناه important miya in oo waalidka labada qof kala tageen markay guursanayaan qof kale laba qof kale inay ilmaha baraan.
Yes, 100%. You need to know who your child's going to be around, what kind of person they are, the things that they're into, the things that they do. You don't know, you're basically allowing your child to be in a home with a stranger. So you need to know, definitely.
True. I have a friend, when I met her, I thought her ex-husband was her husband. Until her husband came, and I was like, what's going on? They were so friends because he brought the kid that was, to exchange. And her and I were meeting in a restaurant, and these guys are so friends. They're like, how has he been? He's telling her the kid have a medical issues, and he was just giving her the updates of what they did and what's happening. And here I'm thinking that was her husband until her husband came. And the husband came and the other guy was here and they just hug it out. How you doing? The other guy hugged the other guy. That's like amazing. I mean, these are Somali. It's like amazing. I couldn't tell the differences between the stepfather and the father. The mutual friendship they have, it is so pleasing. And that's how it should be. And also we have other stigma in our community that the stepmoms are from witch or the stepdads are crazy.
ama la dhahaya cunugan stepdadkiisa oo lagu dhahay abti waay runta ha loo sheego
What's up to that we have?
abti waay eeda waay guriga waxa dhan marka waa isku qasan yihiin.
How or when should a partner be introduced to the children?
goormaa ilmaha la bari karaa qofka hooyada ama aabaha uu guursanayo soo
I think you should introduce your partner to your children when you're sure that this is the person that you're willing to spend the rest of your life with. Because like you don't know who you're gonna end up with. Like you might have to date a couple people and then introducing all of them, the children are gonna be like, wait, what is going on here?
Which one is which?
which one is
What's happening?
So you have to be sure and then, you know, introduce your partner to the child.
I agree.
Yeah.
My Google is coming in Kermal.
Yeah.
My boyfriend is
Stop. Right. Yeah.
I'm an Google is Hoya, who's that guy?
Abtigawa.
Oh, that's my Abtigawa. Okay, fine. It's not up to you. You can't do that.
Exactly.
I think also when you're really sure that this is going to be the one who's going to take care of your kid as well, love your kid, then you should introduce them.
Yes.
And then after introducing, just don't rush to the marriage. And when I say introduce, like go to the park together and see how he is with her.
Or him.
Yeah,
with the
him and
kids.
her. And see what the interaction is. And ask the kid, do you even like this man?
Yeah. Right.
Like, listen to the kid. The kid will tell you.
Oh yeah, kids will tell you. Just true.
Yeah, believe what they say. Be like, Mom, I don't like him. I'm like, okay, maybe one more day, girl. You know, just
Exactly.
I know he didn't push you hard enough in the swing, but just keep reintroducing them two together, and then you can go into that marriage.
For me, growing up in a home where my mom, you know, she was early 40s. When my father died, I was 9, 10. Now, the age that I am right now, especially the last 15 years, there is this anger in my heart that people didn't encourage her, support her to get married. Because it would have been, and I asked my mom, I did ask, she said, well, for one reason, I didn't want whoever I bring in mess up with you, specifically because you're the only girl. Because, you know, and then, and then that was, you know, there's always that background, whether or not he's going to treat me right or whatever the situation is. And then she didn't want her sons who are older to feel like there was going to be a battle. Like, my father died, how can you replace him? But Islamically, you know, now that I've studied Islam, one of my favorite hadiths of all time is when this woman who was in her 60s lost her husband. And in Salatul Layl, because, you know, she needs a spouse, she needs a companion. She's praying in the middle of the night and she asks God for a companion, not even realizing, she really did admit it, that not realizing that she was seeking marriage. There was this part of her, she wanted companionship. And Prophet Muhammad knocked on her door and he married her, you know. He said, Allah sent me to you, I want to marry you. She was shocked. She was over the hills, was like, dude, like, I didn't even, you know, like, but Allah gave her, you know. But I wish my mom had that. I mean, I've talked to my brothers now. They're like, shut up. They're like, what is wrong with you? Don't be stupid.
Exactly.
But, you know, I think for me as a woman, I always support people to have a companionship. Things, but I also feel like my relationship with my mom would have been better. I mean, my mom is my best friend. She's my yin yang. But I also feel like there are certain conversations that if she had that person to talk to, that she couldn't talk to even with her own sons, that it would have really, I think in the Somali community, we don't support widows to remarry.
Nope, we don't.
We don't support them. We will support a divorcee to remarry faster than a widow. Not realizing Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, majority of his wives were widows because they lost the love of their life and they need that companionship. So for me, I wish that the whole introduction of StepParents could have happened to me. I think the stronger the new marriage, the new relationship is with that child, the better that marriage is going to work out. Because I know a lot of girls who would not marry Prince Charming because Prince Charming and their children did not get along. It's very important, and the way you even introduce is very important as well. Because if, let's say, your children are teenagers and
that's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. But if you don't let the child be a teenager, let them be an adult, you know, this is not just because at that stage they're not looking for parents, they already have parents. They're looking for friend, and they're also looking to know that their mother is being respected.
Especially if you have boys.
Yeah. Absolutely, they want their parents to be respected, and they also want their parents to be treated right. Or it's like, I think if you're like, for example, teenagers, there's also this thing, you're like, you're not my parents, don't tell me what to do.
You're not my father.
Attitude. You know, so I think going back to the whole, what, you know, Nafisa said earlier, it's about their age, you know. You're going to have to decide.
That's why it's so easy to have introduce them in early age. Soomaalida waxay dhahaan markay yar tahay, ilmaha markay yar yihiin, fiican habarta inay guursato. Then markay weynaadaan.
Is it possible for a step-parent to treat both kids the same? labada waalidka oo adeerka ama eedada labada ilmaha ay dhaleen iyo ilmaha ay u yihiin waalidka kale ay dhaleen isku dhaqan may ka dhigi karaan inaa isku soo korinayaan.
I think it's possible.
It's possible. It depends of the person. qofkay ku xiran tahay shakhsi ahaan. Because adiba ma rabtid ilmahaaga ina maxaa la dhahaa oo different qofka kale u treat gareen. ilmaha kale sidaas camal leh u feeri because maanta hadda kuwan wax ku sameeysid bari adigana kugu soo noqonay waxa laga yaabaa qof kale inuu ilmaha saas ku sameeyo. marka mar walba kaasha diin ahaan you know do the right thing.
Because ilmahan amaano way moogtahay. Even though they're not yours, you know, once you become, you know, take responsibility over their mother, haladaha inaad treat graced well like ilmaha adoo dhasho kala waay. Number 1 amaanay kugu yihiin. Number 2, it's like Sahara said, you know, you have to fear Allah, you know, cannot treat differently. I mean, I've seen it cases in the community where gabdaha, you know, some of my friends that said that, you know, my stepmother used to do this and this to me, you know, and then her kids, she treat them this and this, you know, it was sad, you know, it's a sad case. You always have to remember that Allah is always around and He sees you. And there's also a judgment day where you have to answer to Allah, you know, so you can't treat somebody less than the other person.
حتى هدي الدنيا lagugu tusinin hadda ka hora waxaa dhacday qisa saas oo kale ama maamo oo naag kale lala qabo camal waxay samaysay cunuga oo eedada ay u tahay ayaa minyarada ooga tagatay ayada wax ma dhalin laakiin minyarada ooga tagatay markay ooga tagatay waagi hore waa daily loo soo adeega jiray back home qofku markuu waxiisu daily life ha marketka loo aadi jiray marka inta marketka ku maqnayd cunugaan oo hurdaya loo keenay markii loo keenay cunugii waxay tiri bax seexi ayadana hoolay haysatay marka hoosh intay soo dhaaftay ee cunuga waxay samaysay dhulka ku turtay cunugaas marka mentally I mean wuxuu kale koomo galay cunugii yarisku uu saqiir u ahaa hooyadii way mayna ogeen way u soo laawatay cunugeedu wali jiifo way faraxsan tahay alla wuu ku jiifaa wali ha hayraad wuu jiifaa wali way iska qaad guriga keentay odagii qaday wax loo kariyay daily life-ki wixii dhan la waday cunuga markii maba soo kacaayaba odiga markii waxa dhahay aaw cunugi ii faraxsana oo qoson oo eedadiisa u geey maanta markaan adeega aadaayay asoo jiifaangee markaan soo noqodan wiil wuu jiifay anigana waan sii seexiyay ilaa hadda macquul ma oo dhan marka odiga fiiri wuxuu ogaaday cunugan inuu habada ka baxsan yahay al ultimo waxa dhacday cunugii inuu koomadii ka survive gareeyo oo wixii move on oo la sameeyo soo survive gareeyo cunugii wax ma ku dhicin ilaaha badbaadiye markuu weynaaday hooyadiisa dhimatay ayadana markaas more mature ay noqotay markii koo maseer ayaa u sameysay noqotay way weynaatay qof weyn ay noqotay cunugii ayaa wuxuu u kaxeerayaa xidki waqtiga xidki kacbadii way ag joogtaa laakiin ilaahay nuurka dhan oo kaga qaadaya nuurka markuu ka qaado wuxuu leeyahay sidan wadaadka u weydiinaysa waxay leedahay aniga waan joogaa meesha mana joogi say ku dhici kartaa markaasaa la dhahaa maxaa samaysa camal ay uga sheekeynay wixii dhexdhacay cunugan maanta aan xidka i keenay leedahay shan saana ku sameeyey maantana asaa maasha allah hooyo dhahooya kelmada hooyo ayuu isticmaalo oo dhahooya hooya anaa kuu soo gartay hooyo inaa meeshan ku keena anigaa raalli ka ah markaasaa la dhahay asiga cafis ka dalbo marka way u sheegaysaa wiilkii laakiin waqtigaas waqti oo kasoo wareegtay magtahay asigana alxamdulilah qof diin oo laha ahaa oo maamadii wuu qancinaya wuxuu leeyahay hooyo markaas caruurnimaa kuu geysay aniga waxa kasoo qaaday maanta hooyadayaa tahay uma arka waxaas wax dhacay marka sometimes waa inaa laga fiirsadaa fiican waxa la sameynayo.
You know, with that question as well, I feel like if you are somebody that has children and is, you know, looking to get married again, you need to make it like really like straightforward, like you and your children come as a, you know,
together
package, like you come together. Because sometimes, you know, I've seen it happen before that the woman's been divorced for so long that she kind of she's looking out for herself. So when she gets married to the guy, she just automatically assumes that he's going to be this father figure and he didn't sign up for that. Do you know what I mean? So you need to be like straightforward with that when you're getting into it.
Yeah, I agree with her. You also need to talk about it. Depending on how long you raised your kid on your own and you got into this new marriage, you have to let the husband, the new husband or the new wife know this is how I raised this kid. These are the disciplines. This is how, you know, I did A, B, and C. And if we were to have a kid together, do you want to do those A and B and C together? Or are we going to do different things but equally to these two kids again, you know? So I think communicating.
Open communication.
Yeah, communicating.
You also somebody like absanaya. Like absanaya, Mark, you know, they tend to do well. I mean, you know, and just. One person fears a lot, they always are just side, you know, no matter what. Yeah.
Hana, I mean, marmarna waxaa dhacda qofkii inuu adiga iska dhigo inuu qof fiican laakiin caruurtaadana uu ku yahay against camal ma way dhacdaa sometimes community-geena saas waa
We see a lot in our community too.
I think in that situation, you should also tell your kid that. Like if you can say if anything happens to you, you can tell me. I don't care who it is. Make sure that they are aware nobody can hurt you. And nobody can hurt me trying to protect you. So no matter who the person is, you need to let me know what happens when I'm not around. So that way they know that you are their best friend at the end of the day, not just a mom.
Absolutely. But it's easier for me to, let's say you're my child, it's easier for me to yell at you and you won't question me yelling at you. Whereas let's say I yell at your my step, you know, children, and that's where the issue can sometimes come, you know. I like your parents can do whatever they want to you. You won't question their love for you, you know. But whereas the other person, why there's always that, why is she doing this? Why is he doing that? You know, and that could be an issue.
And I've had that situation before, and you have to set the kid down. So when he does yell at her, or when I yell at her, we both explain to her why you're getting yelled at. At the end of the day, this is something that you did wrong, and if I don't see it and he sees it, he needs to say something to you, you know? And there's times where she, if he disciplines her, she comes up to me and says, you know, he disciplined me, da da da, and I ask her why. Why did he discipline you? And then she either will explain it fully, keep things out, or but you still have to bring in the husband and be like, okay, well, not without her, but talk to each other and be like, okay, this is what, you know, the kid said to me, what happened? And then you guys talk about it, bring in the kid, and then know that this is a partnership. Like, you can't put us against each other, but I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm still talk to you no matter what you tell me. I'm still gonna, you know, communicate with you. But if he's disciplining you, it's out of love, just like I discipline you.
I think your children, the way you love your children, you can't love another. You can try, you know, because then I may and everybody says to me, wait until you have your own. But I also believe that question should also encourage us to treat people equally, treat them right, treat them just, you know, even if you don't like love that person, still give them the dignity and the respect and the equality. I think it's very hard to treat them equally, but you always have to try to treat them equally. Yeah, but also Habibti Dinta, you're a human being, right? And I'm speaking as someone who has seen steps. I'm not talking about in our immediate, but I have seen it. I've seen it in home care. I've seen it. I've worked in the hospital. I was in Kenya doing, you know, all those things. I have seen it. It's hard. But the child didn't do anything to you, right? It's going back to the child didn't do anything to you. Being kind to that child, being loving to that child is very important. But I think also with jealousy and all those things, take it to the adult. Don't take it to the children who are weak and can't do anything about, you know. But treating them equally is very important. Loving them the same is not what the question is asking. I think that's where the conflict can come in, you know.